Hey guys, welcome back to a long overdue impressions video on a game that I beat a couple of months ago actually now. And that game is Ryse, Son of Rome for the Xbox One. A game that it was actually a launch title for the Xbox One. And as you guys know, I was a little bit of a late adopter in terms of getting an Xbox One console. So I'm glad I finally got around to beating this game a couple of months ago, and it's definitely one game that I really enjoyed, and I kind of feel bad because this is a game that got a lot of flack when it was first released on the Xbox One. But then again, I think this game suffered the same fate as, for example, a lot of the early PlayStation 3 exclusive games when the system launched back in 2006, and that's just because just bad luck, bad timing. I think the PS3 was the console to pick on early, last gen, and the Xbox One was the one that suffered that fate, with the whole DRM thing. So I think a lot of people had a lot of unwarranted hate for this game, but there are certain criticisms that I can understand, such as the game is really short, so I can see for those of you that got this game right at launch for $60, maybe the price paid wasn't that much worth it. But for me, somebody that picked the game much later on, I think I paid $10 for this game brand new. I was more than satisfied with the content, with the story, and with just the overall game itself. So if you guys can get this for a reduced price, which I'm pretty sure you can, obviously, nowadays, I highly recommend you checking this game out. But what I liked about Ryse, Son of Rome is, first of all, the setting and the overall gameplay of the game. This is a third-person action, I guess, hack and slash and or beat 'em up type of game, similar to the I guess the Resident Evil games that play in third-person view. You see your character in a third-person view, behind the back of the character, but you don't have guns in this game, which is something that is pretty refreshing, if you will. You do have weapons, you have a sword and a shield. Those are your main weapons in this game. So it's kind of like a refreshing take on the whole third-person genre, because most games out there that are third-person, you have a gun and you have to aim, and that's a pretty common type of gameplay. But in this game, you have your sword and a shield, and it's pretty interesting actually, because when you engage in combat with the enemies, the camera changes, it zooms out, and you become or the game becomes like this kind of like Batman Arkham Asylum or City type of game combo flow system, where you can engage combat in the enemies, you can block their attacks, and you can switch. You're attacking one enemy, you can dynamically switch to the other one, and then come back to the other enemy and whatnot. So you do have to have a pretty good balance of blocking, defending, parrying, and of course creating combos, attacking with your sword. And then when the enemies are weak enough, there's a certain indication that you can perform an execution attack. And the more you level up your character, the more, I guess, execution styles you can unlock. There are some the execution movements are basically like quick time events, where you can perform a very cinematic, brutal execution, very bloody, very gory, but pretty satisfying to pull off in this game. So I thought the combat system, while it's not as good obviously as the Arkham games, I always mention the Batman Arkham gameplay mechanics, because I think that's that's where the bar has been set as far as enjoyable combat combo systems. And obviously this game doesn't reach the quality and the fun factor of the free flow combat of the Batman Arkham games, but nevertheless I thought it was pretty enjoyable. You can also certain parts of the game you can also employ some long distance or long range weapons. You can throw spares at enemies. So you do have that option to have long range attacks in certain parts of the game, which I thought it was pretty cool. Story wise, I enjoyed the story quite a lot. I think it starts a little bit slow and a little bit on the I guess familiar side of things. If you guys have watched movies that are in that Roman Empire setting. I think you'll become very familiar with the overall theme of this game, which is basically vengeance. Early in the game, your family gets executed and killed, and you're basically out looking for revenge. But in the later chapters of the game, there are certain interesting developments that I really enjoyed. I wasn't expecting a good story for this game, but the game actually delivered. I'm not going to say the story is great or anything like that, but I thought it was pretty enjoyable. And towards the end, there are a few things that happen that make it even more interesting than I would normally thought it would be. So pretty decent story. And then the graphics are something that really impressed me, because here we're talking about a launch Xbox One title, and as we all know, the Xbox One got a lot of flack for being the quote-unquote weak system. The PS4 is a little bit more powerful in terms of producing better graphics and whatnot. But this game, I think it looks beautiful. I think a lot of the game benefits from being a very corridor and pretty, I guess, scripted type of level design in the game, where you don't have that much freedom of going anywhere in the game. It's pretty much scripted. It's pretty much a corridor type of game where you just go straight. And yes, you can, there are certain collectibles that you can look behind crates and things like that, but the game doesn't give you a full range of freedom like other games out there do. But that's fine. I think I enjoyed the game for what it is. I enjoyed the game for how it was presented to you, and I thought it was a pretty enjoyable experience. The game is on the short side. I think I beat this game in around 6 hours maybe. I think I played this on normal difficulty, and the game proved to be I guess fair in terms of difficulty when you play in normal. I understand there's a multiplayer component to the game, but personally I didn't try the multiplayer component. Besides, at this point the community is probably almost non-existent at this point. But other than that, I thought Ryse for the Xbox One is a very worthy exclusive to look at. Obviously, I think you can get this game on the PC. A lot of the Xbox One exclusives are kind of like dual. You can get them on the PC or the Xbox One. But for somebody that doesn't really do PC gaming like myself, I found myself to quite enjoy this game, especially for what I paid for it, only $10. And I'm really glad I got to experience another exclusive Xbox One title that, in my opinion, got a lot of unwarranted hate for just being part of that launch lineup of the Xbox One. I'm kind of hoping there would be some kind of sequel, but I don't think that's true. I think the developer of this game, Crytek, at one point mentioned the possibility of a sequel, but as we all know, the Xbox One is not lighting the sales charts on fire, so I'm not really sure what the status of the sequel of this game is. I think it's in limbo, but it'll be nice to see some kind of sequel for this game. And as I mentioned, I think it's a game that is not an excellent game, but it has a decent story, it has pretty good graphics, it has enjoyable gameplay, and the game is short enough that it doesn't overstay its welcome. So if you guys own an Xbox One, I'm pretty sure you can get this game for dirt cheap nowadays, so definitely take a look at this. I think it has a unique setting, in the Roman Empire and whatnot. A unique type of gameplay with the third-person view, but no weapons, no ammunition and things like that. You have a sword and a shield, and I think the combat overall was pretty satisfying and pretty fun to unlock the different types of things, because you can level up your character and unlock the different execution moves and things like that as you progress through the game. So that's it. I really enjoyed my time with Ryse, Son of Rome for the Xbox One. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all later.